in LA, you're in the hustle and bustle. We were talking about it, like, it's a different world. And then you get to Greenville. What was that like? The first few months, first couple years, like, what's it been like to just a cultural shift?
Big.
But probably you went through some of the same things about the people. It's I think there's a different way of life, but the people are kind of the same,
Yeah, I think the biggest difference for me coming out here was I had a friend who moved here from Orange County in California, I think he was near Anaheim or something around that area. Once you get south of LA, you do start getting some similar values to out here.
Right.
Just leave and get away like about an hour and it's different.
Right.
But I think for me it was more of a priority to make a life move over a work move.
Right.
We chatted about that a little bit. I think the potential for me to be better on a personal level across the board here was more apparent to me. Once I started meeting people from here or people that were here, we were just kind of welcomed in really, really openly by people we'd never met before. There's a couple moments where we're out in public and people approached us and gave the Southern hospitality thing to us, eating mostly at restaurants.
Yeah.
But, man, that was cool. I felt really, it's not usual to get that in LA when you're downtown or, when you're around. I lived in Burbank, California growing up. My dad was in the studios. So I kind of got acclimated to all that. And, it's different. It's a different lifestyle. You're commuting everywhere. Here has a small little base and it's easy to get downtown. We were in an apartment like 5 minutes from Fluor Field, like right down at the heart of Greenville. And that was like the best experience for us. And it really did show us the type of people that are here. But I think there's a stigma with the South that bothers me now that I've been here long enough to notice that that people out here maybe not be educated. They're not smart enough to start a business. They're not smart enough to do this, that, and the other. They work in the country only and all this stuff. I never felt that way. But then once I was here, I was like, it's really obvious. There's actually more talented people here, in my opinion. You said that earlier. It's a pocket for this crazy amount of growth here. That's very cool. The transplants that come here embrace that, which is very cool. And then they try to leave a stamp, I think, for not just themselves, but others. That kind of other-centered thing is pretty cool out here. Whether or not you're of faith or anything, it doesn't.
Right.
Because people also think that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, so if you drink sweet tea, you're gonna.
It's over.
Yeah, you're never leaving. So.
I love that.
But no, man, like it's kind of wild. So you came from that area of things. We were talking a little bit about like tech and you're in film and all these things. So like you were there.
Mm-hmm.
You're like in the heartbeat of those industries, and then you come to Greenville, and and I know 100% what it was. Like, even if you didn't tell me.
What was it? I want to hear it.
It's personal. It's the personal life aspect of it.
Yeah.
You were talking about in California, first thing people want to know is like, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody cares about what you want. And that is the biggest dynamic shift of realizing like you're a human being, not a human doing,
That's right.
And so like there is an element of family that's sacred here. There's an element of a life worth living that's here, and it's more rooted in who you are than what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I could imagine like I grew up that way, but like, but I'll give you this example. That hinders some people from entrepreneurship here because it's far-fetched. Here it's, be home by 5 and be at the kids' ball game and all that. And you want to do that, but it's almost like here they build a fence to make you think that if you chase something, you're going to sacrifice those things. And you may for a season, but you can kind of control that if you're building something that's scalable. And, it really boils down to the person. It's not the process, it's not the product, it's not the business that does that. It's the personal decision to do that.
100%.
And I think so. I think it's two sides. Like there, it's expected. Here, it's almost feared. But But when you find those people here to where you're like, here, there's smart people doing big things. I think it's because it's such a small fractional percentage of the ones that are the crazies that actually go out and pioneer something. And you're seeing the best, and it's a smaller playing field. And so everyone looks really elite versus out there, everyone's trying that, and so you have a mixed basket of people that.
But I mean, that's how you started this. That's how I would respond to that is, why would you want to be in a pool like you talk about the film industry? So leaving the film hub of the world, really there, right? I remember from my dad, it was weird for a little bit because he was like, well, you want to get into this industry, or stay in it. Because I never unionized and went the studio route. So that was one of the options I had before I left. So about 4 years ago. And it never appealed to me because I just felt like something about it wasn't connecting with me. And also the being present part is really important because people will out there sacrifice to not be present here's the challenge for me, okay, if I do this from age 20 to 45, 50, I can retire and be present with my kids. I don't know, that mindset just doesn't work anymore. I mean, it's very clear, and part of what caused us to have, a thought of moving was COVID. And COVID's what decentralized the entirety of the film industry and media as a whole. I mean, look what we're doing right now. I mean, this is the way to develop business nowadays, is people listen on the phone more than they do anything else. And I think most of advertising went there. So for me, I'm like, well, why would I go to the studios and do the studio system if big Hollywood movies are not really the main draw, and ads and marketing and all that stuff are more of the draw? So for me and a bunch of filmmakers like me now, there's this middle through line that we all found that's just completely unique to what was being offered, because it is what you said. Out there, it's a challenge because a lot of times the studio system has been seen as the only way to actually make good quality filmmaking. But since I've moved, I've been able to really to develop projects that I wouldn't have been able to do out there, or start a rental house that there's hundreds of rental houses out there. I've started one of, if not the only one here, Greenville Film Rentals. Somehow got that IP. I mean, that's the thing to me where I'm like, why wouldn't I want that and a better lifestyle? It just makes sense when you think about it more. It's a huge jump. No one in my family ever left Cali except for me. Maybe for college, like my cousin left for college and all that stuff. But my small family, I've had, grandparents that immigrated there and they stayed, and I was the first one to leave. Everybody thought I was crazy. Now my parents bought a house out here. My grandparents bought a house out here. So yeah. hopefully just being a part of the change is good, right? That doesn't mean that everything has to leave there. I want to make that clear. It doesn't mean that I don't still go out there once a quarter or more. I do a lot of business out there still, but I hope to pull people to see what the Southeast has. Atlanta has a lot of it. Tennessee's getting a lot now. Nashville. Dr. Phil moved his entire operation out of the CBS studios to Texas. So things are changing. That's all I'm saying. And I want to be a part of good change. It's part of what you guys are doing too. You can operate fully out of this area. Mm-hmm. People don't think you can, but that was my experience.